Welcome to the show. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. More on them in a bit.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Marvel Multiverse Monday. As always, I'm joined by Kyle. How are you doing, Kyle?
I'm all right. I'm doing no, that's a good lie. I'm doing all right.
That's a simple lie that we tell people every day, right?
Yeah, I tried to do a dryer repair job, and it still didn't work. So I'm frustrated, and yeah. So
I was surprised you said that, just because, like, I don't know. If I were doing that, I was thinking about, like, if I didn't live in an apartment complex, blah blah blah, I would be like, I would just like open it, look at it, and be like, it's time to call somebody.
Well, I replaced the heating element and all of the fuses in the back. I think it's the timer switch. I think is bad. I think it's not sending the signal through, that it's, you know, clicking over on to the different settings and cycles. But we're not here to talk about
dryer repair. Come on,
dryer repair. I mean, I did 17 years in the Army engineers. You know, came in as an electrician.
A fucking dryer. No, I'm kidding.
No, I replaced all the parts. They just, the last two parts that you can actually change. Well, the three parts you can actually change out left, and they're all on the front. And that's the door sensor switch, which has nothing to do with heat. It just tells the dryer whether or not the door's shut and whether or not it can run. So if you hold the button, it'll run. And so that's not it. And then the start button, it again, nothing to do with heat, but the switch itself with all the settings, if it's not sending the signal of what setting it's on, so that's got to be it. And I thought the kit that I bought came with that, but anyways,
that's this week's segment. We're gonna have a new segment every week where Kyle repairs something.
Oh God,
with his years of experience. No, I'm just kidding. So this week's episode,
Falcon wouldn't let me touch Red Wing though.
Right?
I bet, dude, come on now, man. Just let me pet it.
This one
with my
is
screwdrivers.
Wait, no. This is the third episode. I thought it was the fourth for some reason. The Power Broker.
Or if we were in Berlin and not trying to get caught by the Nazis. Oh, we were holding fingers up in American style 3 versus
then we switched.
Which I didn't know that I was doing it the German way for most of my life.
The Glorious Bastards?
No.
Oh, okay.
And until because I was in Germany. I lived in Giebelstadt, which is not too far from Würzburg. When I was in elementary school, and then for a few years, and then growing up around so much in the military brat, army brat, especially community, because it's in Europe, it's more army, like, while in Asia, you hear of more like Navy and Marines, like, you know, marrying Asian locals, while Army and Air Force will get a lot of Europeans because of the big Army and Air Force bases in Europe.
Yeah.
Anyways, so even growing up, a lot of my friends had German mom or dad, or they themselves grew up in Germany. So yeah, it was like middle school before I found out that, wait, what are we doing here? Why does everyone do this differently?
That's right, folks. If you're ever watching a film and someone who's from Germany, or, you know, in case you catch it in the background of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and someone's doing that, it means they're not authentic. So this episode actually takes place less in Germany than the last episode, but still, Kyle brings us in as always. The Power Broker is the name, I believe. And we do start in Germany, sort of. Really, we start with Hoskins' Battlestar and Captain America, in quotes, John Walker, right?
Yeah.
God, for some reason.
Which Munich?
Are they even in Germany? They're wherever they hit out.
Yeah,
Munich's where we go for Zemo, I think.
No, Zemo's in Berlin. They go there.
Oh,
in
you're
Munich,
right.
And then they both have the same idea later on to go talk to. Yeah. So anyway,
because they're in the guy who helped him out last time, and this is another sign of a different type of Cap. Is the most important part of this scene is that someone spits on his face, he punches you in the face. That's not something normal Cap would do, especially to a civilian who's just hiding people. Like,
yeah,
an organization that's is still a terrorist organization, but is looking less and less evil, I think, each week. And
I mean, it's all ideology.
One man's rebel is another man's terrorist, or whatever.
Well, no, there's a very clear global court and UN definition for what terrorism is, and that's the use of violence or threat of violence against civilian targets for the purpose
of ideology,
for the purpose of generally political change, but can be theological change as well. Regardless, it's attacking civilians specifically. So,
well, whenever I didn't mean they were literally the definition of terrorists, but they're going around. We see them blow up people this episode who aren't terrible people, but also aren't innocent people. Yeah. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Because Cap doesn't, and then they have this. God, my mind is rambling for a moment. Okay, put words together, Nick. So we're still with Hopkins and Walker, and Hoskins is like, well, let's put maybe we'll bet on the other guys, or some line like that.
Basically, they
have a better hand, is what he says.
Yeah.
Because they're both after the same thing. Like Walker says last time, they have different routes to get there. He has to work with the U.S. military and investigate places they were kept. He can't just go doing what Falcon and mostly Bucky do in the next scene, which is break Zemo out of jail.
Yeah, I think we should bring up that global GRS or GRC, right? Or whatever it's called, the Global Repatriation Company or whatever.
Council, probably.
Council.
Yeah, it is Council, because it reminded me of the World Security Council they used to talk about in the other Avengers movies.
Yeah, that's
dicks.
and that's an interesting thing, because that's they connect. They're obviously working with the local government, because the van's marked GS.
That's right.
GRC,
Hoskins, and
but it's also Polizei, which is
Walker. Get out of it.
Yeah, and then Hoskins and Walker are in it, so it's obviously got to be at least some sort of UN agreed treaty group, and that means Hydra, Flags Smashers, Skrulls, Kree.
You never know.
Point being is now you've got another shield, basically, of sorts.
Yes.
And they can be corrupted.
Exactly. And I forgot, we actually open with this nice glossy commercial, for them, which feels just like, whenever if I'm watching a Resident Evil movie, it feels like an Umbrella Corp commercial, or if I'm watching Amazing Spider-Man, it feels like an Oscorp commercial where it's like, imagine what Oscorp can do for you.
I don't like punishing myself that much.
But and then we cut to Bucky, without permission from Sam, breaks out Zemo after him and Zemo have a tense, I wouldn't even call it a tense moment. Zemo tries saying the phrases, basically knowing they won't work. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Oh, I just had to see." And they have a nice chat where he's like, "It was never personal." Mm-hmm. It's like, you were a means to an end. And they talk about Machiavelli, which is a part of the theme of the book is, if I'm not mistaken, well, Machiavelli is the author, not the name of the book.
The main book people attribute to him is the Prince, but it's a different book
Yeah,
that he's reading.
I think the one he's reading, or maybe it's Machiavelli's point of view, is similar to Walker's point of view, where it's like, as long as get the job done.
Yes.
And that's Walker actually says that in the last scene too. We already know he's that kind of cap. He's like, if we get the job done, do you really think they'll care?
Yeah. Vader's that way. Sephiroth is Thanos is that way.
That's all I'm saying. Thanos.
It's now like a cliche to have your villain be like that, but it still makes for a compelling villain.
And I think it works with John Walker because he's not supposed to be the traditional villain. He's been selected to be Captain America.
Right.
He's just easily corruptible because there's one Steve, and like Steve's two best friends are the most trustworthy people on the planet.
Yeah. And he's got a lot of additional stressors on him. Like he's got to deal with the rules and regulations side of it, which, you know, speaking from a little bit of experience of having your hands tied operationally, whether it's in a combat zone where you got specific rules of engagement, or even in garrison with certain like safety protocols for construction sites or materials that can just mess with the projects, slow it down, cause issues. And you might understand it. Your captain at the company commander level might get it. Your battalion commander ain't hearing that shit, and he's pissed, and the sergeant major's pissed, and they're screaming. And you're like, I can't put this together with 2x4s. It has to be 2x6s by fucking codes, sergeant major. So get me the shit, and I'll fucking do it. And so Walker, he's got a lot on his plate, and people are going to be, oh, you're humanizing him. No.
It's okay to humanize him at this point. He's not.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything unforgivable yet. It wasn't even, he's not even the one to say, I want to pick up the shield. It was given to him, and he was hesitant. Like, so far, he hasn't done anything wrong except for alienate Steve Rogers' friends for being kind of a dummy.
Yeah. But it does kind of show how much layers that we don't necessarily see.
And I will also say, I still don't know which way to go on the theory. He's definitely gonna have it by the end of the season. Superhero serum.
You think?
Super soldier serum.
I think he'll have something in him. Yeah.
But I don't. Either he doesn't have it yet, or it's not as powerful, or it doesn't look like he's holding back, but his punch doesn't do much more than a normal person punching someone.
And he has a hard time pulling himself up on the truck from last episode. And
I don't think he has it yet, unless they're slowly, like you said, we mentioned maybe being slowly dosed.
Something like that, yeah, maybe.
But I do think him and Hoskins will have it by the end. Now, that's where it feels like a show is going that involves the power broker, who does give them both the serum in the comics, and is related to Torres, and has
the in the comics is a character but with the same last name as the female that we've been following.
No. I actually learned it this week. It's the opposite. She has. I watched one of the videos this week. It was days ago, so I'm not stealing all their stuff. She has the same last name as the individual known as the Flag Smasher.
That's what it was. That's what.
Otherwise, I'm like, the power broker thing is kind of weird. But that's how they she is, for all intents and purposes, they're all Flag Smashers, but she's the character Flag Smasher.
Sure. Yeah. Got it.
So then Bucky and him have a nice conversation, and he's with Sam in a warehouse, and Sam's like, "Where the hell are we?" And he's like, well, like hypothetically, I could break Zemo out of there. You get like the Mission Impossible sequence of it actually going down while he's talking about it.
Yep.
Oh, it's so great. Like he gives the one guy a note, the one security guard is like, he's gonna kill you in your sleep tonight or something. So he tacks the guy across the table. And then he works out the guards. He's like, there's 7 guards per prisoner, but when this happens, 4 guards have to respond. And if the fire alarm were to also be pulled, he's
been thinking about it for a minute.
Yeah. And then Zemo shows up, and it turns out Zemo is basically Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I love they made
rich,
him Baron.
Yeah.
Baron Zemo.
He gets his Baron title this time. The pop's literally called Baron Zemo, not even Barrett Helmet Zemo. I have the pop of him because he is a Baron. He served in the super special forces or whatever in Sokovia,
which is where I think that mask is from. Like he used it while he was on those missions.
Oh, is that what you think?
That's what I think, because it obviously has like a shell. It's not just a
it's not just this.
Yeah,
a ski mask. It's more
exactly.
Has more shape.
I guarantee it's armor underneath, Kevlar, vibranium, something. Vibranium laced Kevlar.
Yeah, shit. Just get shot in the head, just like Batman in Batman v Superman, because Batman's cowl is apparently metal-proof or bulletproof.
Yeah, and his gauntlet fins are energy absorbers too.
Now, so they're hanging out. Zemo's like, "Yo, these are all my cars. Let me grab my equipment." And yeah, his mask is just in one of the cars with his equipment.
Yeah,
and they like get picked up by like his version of Alfred. And then he's like, "It's so good to see you, sir." He's just like, and he's talking to him later in German. He's like, if the food like smells spoiled, give it to them.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just fun banter. It's actually really great. I mean, it's one of those episodes where you're like, is this the chance that he runs out? Like, it reminds me the most of Khan, because I've seen that movie so many times in Into Darkness. Like every moment, like, where's Khan? And then he is still there with them. I thought that as the audience member, Tom, like, where's Zemo? And then he comes back with a gun and doesn't shoot them. Because it does seem like they are pretty aligned. I'm sure there will be a betrayal eventually, and I'm hoping to see something like the Thunderbolts down the line as like an Avengers level threat.
Yeah.
That way you have a bunch of individual superheroes fighting other superheroes, not like one big supervillain and like a lot of faceless minions made in the computer. But yeah, he's cool. He gets Sam Wilson to play dress up because they're going to Madripoor. And which in the comics, how's it pronounced?
I think it's Madripoor.
Madripoor. In the comics, most often associated with mutants, and Wolverine in particular is a big. I can't remember the name of the bar because the bar goes by two different names in the comics. One's like the Pink Monkey, and one's like something
Bronze
else monkey.
And Brass, I think.
Yeah, Bronze and Brass. That's it. Brass Monkey. But there's a line there that I love, where Sam's like, "Well, why am I dressed like a pimp?" And he's like, "You Americans, every time they see like a well-dressed black man, you have to call him a pimp." He's like, "You look good."
So here's the thing though. I think it's obvious that to me they're great. They're great scenes, and they can be taken either way. They can be taken as Zemo basically throwing shade at them because he doesn't like them. It's not too bad. It's kind of just like, yeah, I'll work with you, but if I can, give you some bad fish, why and watch you throw up overnight, why not? But it could also be seen where he's very patronizing and condescending and hearkening back to a lot of the character tropes of him and other characters created when they were, which is being racist, classist, elitist. That's what Zemo was.
A fucking Baron.
Yeah. And
he's
so you
Hydra
can
in the comics.
Yeah.
So
and you can kind of look at it that way too, where he's almost saying the right things. And Sam kind of calls him out. He's like, "You're out of line, but you're right."
Yes, that's the moment where he says that, right?
Yeah. So and people have been debating on which way to take it, and this is the great thing about it. Both ways work equally well because either way, he's still treating them like garbage, and it adds a little bit more when he's treating Bucky like garbage as
definitely
well.
Gets he definitely so they go in to Madripoor, you know what I'm talking about, City of M. They go in there, that's where their lead is, Because they already know it's the power broker, right? But
well,
no,
they're going to first.
Zemo knows where to look.
Yeah,
because Zemo
he's
obviously knows everything about Hydra.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like he spent his life. You see, he kind of lied. Captain America: Civil War, and that he was like, with enough time and like I forgot a second thing he says. A man can do just about anything with enough time and
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but he forgot to say with enough time, whatever the other one is, and money. One can do just about anything because he's Batman. He's even got a mask.
Yeah, he does. It's he's evil. He's not Batman who laughs evil. He's just, Batman raised in Russia in the 80s instead of America.
He's just he's Eastern European Batman.
He's Eastern European, Central Eastern European Batman.
Yeah. So they're at the bar. Those are monkey skulls, not which makes sense. At first I was like, I watched it. I'm like, it's definitely not Skrull, but what is it? I'm like, they're monkey because the name of the place is Monkey. Unfortunately, no Skrulls yet in the series.
Right, which we even, we mentioned that when we saw the trailer, and we were like, it could be. They look like Skrulls, but it doesn't mean they were. And we said it like, the preview for Falcon and Winter Soldier, we were like, look, we have to accept anyone could be a Skrull at any time, but we're not going to spend all season looking for the Skrulls.
I did see Mephisto's head on that wall.
Oh, you did?
No, I'm just kidding.
I might do another Mephisto Easter egg in an image.
That was funny when you did that. So they're at the place. He's the smiling tiger. Sam Wilson's looks a lot like me.
The line about the fashion forward thing and it made me think of something, because he does, and again, Sam's like, yeah, you're out of line, but you're right. Americans gotta push their point of view on everything. And I'm not saying we shouldn't fucking do it, but it's something I find funny is when an American is upset about something that the host nation or local national of the culture or whatever this American descended from that culture is upset about something. And that actual, like, Japan, for example, let's go with that that girl that wore a kimono themed prom dress and a Asian American had a issue with it. I've seen so many videos in Japan where they were asked about that situation and similar ones, and Japan is 1,000% from young to old. They love seeing their culture appreciated, spread, not abused or anything, but wearing a dress isn't abusing anything. And it's just funny that fucking Marvel, under the house of Disney, is making some of these types of comments. I love it. It's great. Calling out hypocrisy. Marvel, I love you, Kevin. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, and the other funny thing about when he says that, the pimp line, it's not Bucky saying it, it's Sam Wilson saying it. Where he's like, I look like a pimp. It's not Bucky being like, dude, you look like a pimp.
Yeah, you mean Falcon, yeah. Or no, but yeah.
It wasn't. Bucky doesn't say it to him.
Yeah, it wasn't. He was exactly. He was saying about
himself.
He's
looking sharp though, and yeah, he's looking like the smiling tiger. Who does look a lot like him because it's Anthony Mackie in the picture. So they're up there. They're like, Zemo wants information. He wants to meet with the lady who owns the bar or is upstairs or whatever. And, they're being eyed by everyone. This is not a good part of the world to be at. As I think the one video I watched about the episode said, it's kind of like Marvel's Mos Eisley Cantina, as far as a location that pops up often in the comics. And usually is not as fancy, but I don't know. People dress pretty fancy and lower. They said there's high and low.
High and low town.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like you see in a lot of things. Like, the thing I think about the most whenever I hear that is Coruscant. You know, you have the rich people up top, and both places are crime ridden. So they're down here looking for a certain person to blend in. Sam has to take a shot with snake organs in it because that's the tiger's favorite.
You live in the Midwest and close to the Southwest. You ever had the snake blood shot?
No.
Okay. You ever eaten for snake at all?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind. It's good. Not the blood shot. That's gross. But the food, like fried,
fine with me. I wouldn't be against it. It's not like I'm someone who's like grouse snakes. It's like I eat a snake. And in order to convince everyone that they mean business, here comes the moment Kyle was talking about, where Zemo really gets to patronize Bucky because Bucky has to act like he's the Winter Soldier and follow commands and. Doesn't like Beals will touch Bucky's shoulder or face or something?
So yeah, a couple times.
Oh, I think that's later when he's like offering to sell him.
Yeah, and he even throws a guy at Bucky to it helps sell the scene more, of course, but it's also him egging Bucky on, and he even says it to Sam. Look how easy he slipped back into the old ways. And
Sam looks pretty fucking worried because it's a proper Winter Soldier scene. The music is there. He's just, he's like moving not robotically, but in the exact way. Like the Winter Soldier moves differently than like if Bucky was just doing his shit. And it's scary, but it gets an audience with the lady who is a man in the comics, but there's also something else about her in the comics. Oh, she's a mutant in the comics. She's not even a man in the comics. But that's just a name they're using from there. We don't have mutants yet, ladies and gentlemen.
No, not that we know.
If we did, I'll be very disappointed because it's gonna be hard to explain.
Yeah,
all of it. So he's gonna sell Bucky for information about the power broker, and she gives him the name. I think is all they get, right? Or they get the name at the party that night.
She gives him the name of the scientist, I think.
Yes. And then she's gonna give more information, but she gets shot because power broker's about power broker sees all, and they're on the run.
He is watching.
The one of the videos, the video I watched also pointed out that at this point he doesn't have super speed anymore. But then again, would you really want to run ahead of your friends that much?
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't
think of it. It didn't bother me.
His speed. I think he's just sticking with the team he's with.
It's not like he lost it.
Yeah, it's not going to do any good for him to run out in front, and it would look really, really bad for him to pick Falcon up and throw him over which he could do. The Winter Soldier's strong enough. He's a super soldier. He could lift a legit one hand Falcon over his shoulder and super speed run that shit, but that would be not cool.
Sam Wilson would be like, "Oh hell no!" Like on your left, my ass.
Funny, but not cool. And so I didn't hear anybody who said.
No, that was just it was one. I think it was one of the videos I was watching.
Yeah,
I watched one this week, and it was on Friday.
I wouldn't say I think he's lost any. He's obviously
no. The guy was just saying, "Oh no, the writers weren't paying attention or whatever." And it's like, no, I don't think it makes sense for him to run ahead.
No.
What's that gonna buy him? Like, unless he's running ahead to grab a weapon and then he's gonna run back.
Exactly.
But they're saved by, of all people, Sharon Carter, former Agent 13. Because she's not really an agent of anything anymore. In fact, she's still on the run. She didn't get a presidential pardon.
Nope.
Like the team that defeated Thanos did. She's still running after she stole the shield and literally his wings. She makes fun, digs at Falcon like, I stole those for you, even like asshole.
Yeah, she kind of has her. We don't know exactly what happened during like the blip or whatever. I still hate that they took the joke name from Spidey to use it for real. That Decimation.
It's too long to say each time, but that was my favorite thing when he's called the Decimation.
The gap would have been better. The anything. The blip just sounds like
I
joke.
I used to call it the snap.
Yeah, but anyhow, she after Civil War, she's the one that decided to not go with the Secret Avengers, not to chill with Cap.
Yeah, she didn't even stay for the air fight battle.
Exactly.
I mean, the airport battle.
So, she was trying to play both sides. She tried to see if she could get away with helping them, and when she didn't, she went on the run. She could have went to Wakanda. She could have kept up with Roger. I don't see a scenario where Steve doesn't try to track her down. So some of the people, like, I saw someone tweet out that she got a raw deal, like Cap fucked her over. So I'm like, I don't think so. I think she made a choice and went off the grid and was like, fuck it, I'm staying off the fucking purple guy snaps. Everyone's in dust. I'm not coming back. So if she didn't, if no one was there, if she didn't come out and say, speak for me, how could anyone speak for her?
Yeah. But she's doing well right now.
Yeah.
I mean, she's living uptown or upstairs or whatever. And she's got a nice apartment and lots of stolen art. Mm-hmm. And I also love the line where Falcon's like, you guys are just acting like you're more like cultured than me. And then he looks online. He's like, yep, that's stolen.
Yep. Yeah.
Because you think they're copies of Monet's and stuff at first. It's no, we're real. And then you get the line from Bucky, which actually I saw in a documentary where, most of the art in whatever museum is probably fake, or half of it, which is true. I watched a documentary about that. There's so much fake art in exhibits. It's because it's so hard.
That and a lot of people don't understand that painters would paint something, and they generally own a studio and they have other painters under them because people pay for commissions.
Yeah.
And they'll have their under studies, underling subordinates, whatever. I don't know what they're called in the art
like
world.
Underlings, sidekicks.
Yeah. Paint additional copies. And for example, there, a Monet original may actually have 5 or 6 copies where Monet's brush actually touched it, but there's one that was all Monet, and then 4 that were mostly done by other people connected to him or commissioned by him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's a lot of painting, and especially even like going back older and older, you get to where people would see a particular piece, especially during the Renaissance or Ted Mosby's Renaissance, the Renaissance. You'll see a lot of people beginning to order copies of art that they've seen.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Grow Generation is your one-stop shop for hydroponic grow supplies, product systems, and more. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Oh, so then she's having a party, and we get the most memeable moment in Marvel since Thanos, and that's Baron Zemo dances. This is the lamest dance moves. It's only like 3-second clip, but it is lit up the internet on fire.
Everything you needed.
Yeah, it is so good. Like, so she knows where to go, right?
Yeah.
Or she learns from someone, like, because they have the name.
She's like, let me go talk. You guys have fun. Don't fuck shit up.
Yeah, and the two of them look very uncomfortable, kind of like hanging about. But Zemo is, he's dancing. These are his people, like before he was put in jail. He's a rich dude. He just wants to have a few drinks and live it up in the city for a night while he has to deal with working with his enemies. So they track down the scientist. They say he's in a shipping container. I thought it was a trap. But it's really cool structure of shipping containers where the back of one opens to a stair, that goes up to other shipping containers. And they find the scientist. I don't know the scientist's name. It really doesn't matter. He has
He's got a comic book connection.
Yeah.
But that's it. He's not been in the it's not been in the MCU yet. I thought for a second I was like, I wonder if they're gonna bring the leader in on this, because we're getting the She-Hulk show and stuff, and I was like, please connect this to, and we still might see that, because we know he was working on the serum
he could
with
be
Ross,
Power Broker,
so he could be.
We have no idea who people also do online, or like, is Sharon Carter Power Broker?
No, I don't.
Do you think this will just be the general question? Do you think we know who Power Broker is,
Yes.
or do you think we'll see a character and it'll just be a new character?
No, I think the Power Broker is someone that has existed in the MCU by name.
And someone who probably got rich during the blip.
Possibly.
Because the scientist was working on it for the US government.
Mm-hmm.
The blip happened. He was dusted. When he came back, things were kind of in disarray, so the Power Broker hired him to keep working on it.
Yep.
And he made 20 samples.
Yep.
Using Isaiah's blood.
Yes. Yeah,
They say it's from a super soldier. And it's right. Like, well, he said that's we how learned last time.
Yeah, that's how he got
he isolated it.
The initial work. Yeah, before he was dusted.
Other question. Do you think the U.S. government has some close enough finished?
We already know. Well, we already know they got imperfect ones.
Yeah, but do you think if they have one that's... do you think they have one that's more... Like, let's say... okay, maybe. I'm assuming that both Walker and Battlestar, I'm going to call him that, because Hoskins are getting it by the end of the series. You think they'll get it from the U.S. government or directly from the Power Broker? Or are the two related? Like it's Thunderbolt Ross type guy, the Power Broker.
It's a possibility. I could see Ross doing it. I don't know.
He strikes me as someone who would set up the Power Broker, but not be the Power Broker.
Potentially.
I'd love to see it someone like Sam Rockwell.
Hammer would be hilarious.
Yeah, just revealing it was Justin Hammer all along, and then Sam Rockwell gets to dance with Zemo.
Or
pitch that.
Killmonger coming back would be. I've wanted them to bring him back since he was in Black Panther. Just like, no, don't let him die. Bring him back.
Too good. Zemo, and Thanos are still like the three where I'm like, yeah. Those are my boys. Especially, I already love Zemo, especially now. I love Zemo. Because, yeah, he's with them. They're talking to the doctor. Doctor's like, he made 20 and they stole all 20.
Mm-hmm.
Referencing the Flag Smashers.
Which
and he mentions
6 of them we've met with powers, and one of them we've seen die.
There were 8.
8? Okay.
They say that somewhere in the episode.
Okay.
Where were the 8 people that stayed here or whatever?
Got it.
No, or someone mentions that we know for sure 8 of them have been used. They have 12 on them, or they've also been used on someone else at some point. Mm-hmm. But so he tells them that, and then Power Broker's pissed. He's after them. Power Broker's after everybody. He gets pissed off easily. It seems like. And the main thing about this one, which makes sense a lot, just to explain something, but hopefully it makes sense as a plot point past that, is, you still look normal when you take it.
Yeah.
It's not like you become Captain America.
Yeah.
Or even Tom Holland. You might not lose you might just even still be fat if you were a fat person. You can just suddenly lift Cap's not super, super strong. Like rip the door off a car. I don't think Cap could ever lift a car, Cap stuff. So which will also explain how John Walker could have already had it in his shirtless scene, because it doesn't make you go buff. And as he also mentioned, there's no machines or anything. You just take it. Mm-hmm. It's not like a solar machine shooting electricity at you.
Yeah.
And then Zemo kills him.
Yep.
So we won't see him again. And then meanwhile, this whole thing's happening, and Sharon Carter's like fighting off like
bounty hunters.
It's basically John Wick,
which was directed by John Wick. At that
point, where it's like everyone in town has money on all their heads. Everyone in town's going after them. She's taking them out. She's interestingly not enough. She uses it in other scenes. In that scene, she's not using a gun, which I thought was interesting. She's lots of knives and like a stick. And later, she uses a gun after one of them just blows everything to hell.
I think that's what she was trying to do, was not escalate. Like,
Yeah.
you know, she's not the targets. So if I just fight these guys with my fists and stuff, maybe
Well,
they'll...
I mean, she stabbed some fuckers, but yeah.
But she's trying to keep it like focused on her and guns escalate it really fast. So,
But yeah, so Zemo kills the guy, and which sucks for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it's what Zemo said he wanted to do. He's on their side because he doesn't want there to be any more fucking superheroes.
yeah.
And he's even working with a super soldier because he really doesn't want there to be more of them.
Right.
And maybe when the other ones are gone, he won't be so happy with Bucky anymore.
No, he'll probably try to kill him.
But so he kind of takes off at a certain point. There's the big explosion because of the equipment. And then once they're like underneath the explosion, like, you know, just now they're like every fight scene in a container, like a seaport, there are shipping containers everywhere. Mm-hmm. Like they're under it. They have the whole "I go left, you go right" type conversation. And they even make fun of the fact that that's a conversation people have a lot. This time now Sharon Carter has a gun because they're all, you know, pulled up there.
They all got pistols against rifles and machine guns. And...
Yeah. And then Zemo is fucking walking atop the containers in his mask and just taking out people for them. So cool. First he's holding the mask and then he has the mask on. Because that one shot's in the trailer where he's holding the mask and he's walking on the shipping container. And then so that they can escape, Zemo finds another fancy car in one of the shipping containers because he's a man of taste. And they all get in. Sharon's going to stay. This is her, you know, there's something going on with her because she has a lady pick her up also. There's some dialogue that's a little bit suspicious, or, you know, it's not the last we've seen of her this series.
No,
definitely not the last we've seen of her in the MCU.
It definitely, I don't think she is the power broker, and I don't think necessarily she is in his direct employ, but she's definitely connected. And definitely works with
herself from killing a scientist.
Yeah.
And blowing up the lab with the last like evidence, unless that's what the power broker wanted. There'd be no evidence.
Possibly.
Because obviously that's what Sam and Bucky want. And then of course, this time Sam's in the back seat and Bucky's in the front seat. And he's like, "You aren't gonna move your chair forward, are you?" And he's like, "No."
Get bent.
Then is that their entire storyline? Now I can go back. What else happens with Falcon and the Winter? No,
that's pretty much that's pretty much the story.
Now I can go back and talk about Flag Smashers briefly, but where does the episode? Doesn't it end on some kind of mini cliffhanger? Can't remember the end.
No, I don't think it.
Oh,
did.
Don't they also get the name of the lady to go see or something? And she's the lady who died.
Well, they got the lady that died. They know she's connected to the Flag Smashers, and that's where they're headed. Wherever she died of tuberculosis.
And then Zemo also has a great bit of dialogue with Bucky and Sam. He's like, "Haven't you guys ever, like, you guys haven't visited the Sokovia like memorial?" Doesn't he? It sounds like Dr. Doom's country has taken over that territory, whatever that's called.
Latveria. No,
Latveria.
The neighbors of Sokovia chewed it up during the in the aftermath of Ultron and during the blip. They were like, "Well, there's a giant city missing, and half the people. Let's take this land, you know." And
I think it's a reference to
the memorial is in this show, and we're gonna find out which host nation which nation has that memorial now. Latveria and another imaginary country that borders it are kind of in that area, so they can use it. But that's a major reveal to say. I don't think I don't
do
think
Doom yet. You can just, if you do the location.
Yeah, I
you mentioned
still
it
think
sentence.
that's mentioning it. One thing, going there's the difference. If he's like, they're at the memorial and he's like, yeah, over there that used to be the border for us in Latveria, I'd be okay with that. But if like the thing is in Latveria, no, the first time we go to Latveria, Doomstad or anything like that, it needs to be with Victor and all that, or his mom in the past and stuff.
Was the cliffhanger at the end with because we still took over the Flag Smasher storyline. We talked about they're off on their way. They didn't get caught by John Walker.
Yep.
They're long gone.
They still supplies from GSC.
Yep. They scouted out at one point. They go to see her mom who's dying. Who's the lady? That's the...
We assume it's her mom, and unless they said it outright, I think.
And don't they show up at the end? And then that's when they find out she's dead or whatever? Somehow I'm blanking whatever the cliffhanger was. Or is the cliffhanger them blowing it up at the end? The Flag Smashers.
I don't remember the exact ending, but I think we've got all the story, Nick. I think you're trying to play something at the end that maybe went somewhere else. I'm not sure.
I don't know, but the explosion scene is interesting. Yeah, though it's the Flag Smashers. At least Carrie. I can't remember her first name is.
I don't remember either.
The redhead from Solo, Infant's Nest or whatever. After they grab all the supplies, which they accuse them of just holding and not giving out to the people.
6 months holding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have all the stuff, they're leaving, and then she, much to her, even the guy in the car next to her is surprised, blows up.
Yeah, she's like, put your seatbelt on, and
yeah. And it becomes the typical it's something you hear in real life too. It's like from a lot of these type of organizations. It's like they're not going to listen. This is the kind of stuff they listen to. Like they don't listen to us when we have our pleas. They listen to violence.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not terrorism, but it's still like, hey, we're here.
At that point, they were attacking a government facility. That would technically not be terrorism.
Yeah.
That would be insurrection if they were nationals, rebellion. That would fall under one of those types of titles in a legal sense.
And then because they're trying the way they're kind of humanizing them more, and we're getting a power broker and stuff. I don't see them being like the villains.
Well,
they're being followed right now, but they just again, like they're going about it the wrong way, but they like the world before. Like they had more power. There's better food. There was more food for everyone. No one was being left out.
Right, and not only that, but they're upset that once everyone came back, they wanted to kind of go back to the way things were, and the whole idea of alliances, borders, not Falcon, War Machine, Rhodey mentions it in episode 1 about alliances and shifting borders and things like that. And look, it's a without getting too political, these two young ideologues are forgetting the same thing everyone forgets: the human factor, and that we are all selfish, bastard-coded bastards with bastard filling, and someone will want more, and that you can't have the utopia. There's people that hated the blip time and couldn't wait for things to get back to for the Avengers to save the world and get back to the way they were. And there's people that enjoyed the blip time after the initial shock and loss. 5 years is a lot of time to get used to things.
Yeah. I mean,
but
that was so shocking seeing that in theaters. I remember.
Yeah.
They're after Thor kills Thanos. They're like,
Yep,
oh,
5
and it's like
years later.
And you're like, oh shit.
But we knew it was going to be 5 years before the theaters.
I don't think I knew. I don't know. I intentionally didn't pay a lot of attention to our website around the time Endgame was coming out. And the trailer was so sparse that.
Yeah, the cliffhanger you were thinking of is AO or IO.
Oh yeah,
AO. I think they.
AO. It's not the other one though.
No, everyone was calling her Koya.
Yeah, it's not Koya.
Koya.
They're going to see someone in the same town. Well, they're at the same facility, I think, as the.
They're in Germany still, I think.
Okay.
Berlin.
They're going to see the GRE or something. I can't remember. But then Bucky finds the balls.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
I saw the first one. I was like, oh shit. Do you know what that is? She's like, no. I was like, it's fucking Wakandan beads. And I was like, is it going to be Shuri? No, nope.
But no, it's the original.
The second in command of the.
Yeah, and the first one we ever saw before we saw Koye, she was in Civil War. She was the one who's like almost challenging Black Widow to a fight, and then T'Challa's like, not that I wouldn't love to see you.
Florence Kasumba, I think.
Yeah.
I think is how to pronounce it.
So that's a new wrinkle. Because I'm glad you remembered that. Because Wakanda's back in play. And they forgave Bucky, but they're not going to forgive Zemo.
No.
They're not going to forgive Zemo. She's
killed
there for his head. So now they have to keep Zemo safe long enough. They even need him anymore. I guess they still do.
Yeah.
They can just hand him over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the episode. Any, I got a question or two, unless you have some theories to start with. Or cool Easter eggs. I didn't look that closely as much for Easter eggs since we're not a mystery show.
I'll say this. What's his name over at New Rockstars picked up on some odd edits and where it looks like there may have been a subplot taken out of this story. And it might deal with a virus. It might have dealt with a virus, and which
is why they have the
vaccines as
vaccines,
right. And
no other mention so far of anything that require that many vaccines,
and a lot of things that talk about. But vaccines are something that you could see. Camps needing,
and
you're gonna have babies coming back from the dust that haven't been inoculated, and all sorts of shit.
They have a line where they're like, people are dying in these camps because they don't care about us, the people who have been here.
Yeah, and
so like even her mom was dying of something like tuberculosis, I think.
Yeah, and he was like, I wish they wouldn't have taken it out because we the more relevant to our time the better. And I disagree with that completely, because first off, they're not here. The MCU's not.
But if that was the original plot, they would have just changed it out of fear of triggering people. I'd prefer the original plot.
No, I look at it. I agree on that aspect of a story point. I agree.
Like it wouldn't have been intentional,
right?
Like it just would have been a coincidence. And like,
look at what was that was it 24? Its first season started right before 9/11, and it just happened to be Jack Bauer's first season is Middle Eastern terror.
2001.
Yeah,
I think it was started in September of 2001. January in 2002, maybe even.
Sometimes right around 9/11. Either way, it was completely unintentional.
I don't think they even were Middle Eastern terrorists the first season. No, they were.
I think that
Remember the guy in charge ended up being
maybe it was
actor from Easy Rider, and he plays Koopa in I'm thinking of the weirdest rules of Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, like I said, maybe it was the second one.
There was definitely one that was a Middle Eastern family, and that was after 9/11.
Fairly close to it.
It was definitely a response to us being in the it starts off and you think the family's fine or something. Well, no, you think the parents are bad and the kid's actually bad or something.
Because Christine and I were watching the 2000s on HBO Max earlier, and I just learned about this. because like the episode opens with an assassin blowing up a plane, and
shit.
they were talking about how this was already filmed and ordered before 9/11, and it was like, well, it's already done, so roll with it. So on that point, I agree with you, Nick. If that was the original intentions, yes. But my point of what I'm getting at is, to me, when he was like, it would have been better to make it connected to us, and I'm like, no, because that's not our world. Marvel mirrors our world in many ways, and that's why it makes such a great soundboard for contemporary commentary. But it still has to be a different world that we go visit, that we choose when to be there and when not.
Yeah. I mean, it has its own president.
Yes, exactly.
I guess Ellis probably isn't. Ellis would have been in charge for far too long, since 2012, no, 2010, because the Avengers actually takes place in 2010.
Yeah.
So we don't have President Ellis anymore, but
probably
someone's
not.
in there.
Not unless there was some sort of emergency constitutional changes.
No,
there.
but he would 8 years. He would have been voted out before the blip even happened. Wait, no, because Spider-Man lies. It's not actually 8 years.
Yeah.
It was also Christmas time, so it could have been towards the end of a I don't know. Just kidding.
Well, Avengers New York happens in 12.
I thought New York happens in Fury's big week, which is all the same week that everything else happens.
12.
Sure. I thought it happened even if it happened in 10, Spider-Man doesn't make any sense, because Spider-Man happens in 2016.
Yeah, Spider-Man's wrong.
No matter how you do it, it's incorrect.
Yeah. Feige basically said,
disregard
a while ago, essentially, that up until Infinity War, which is set in 2018, the MCU is year for year unless otherwise stated.
Okay.
You don't remember that?
And, no, but I just remember sometimes they consider it canon. The book series that they used to do the comics, like Prelude to Ant-Man or like Prelude to.
Kevin
used to call those canon too, but James Gunn was the first one who said they're not canon.
Yeah.
Someone asked him about it. He's like, that has nothing to do with my script. I didn't write those. Like, because Nick Fury's big week is Prelude to Avengers, and it implies that not only did it all happen in a year, within a week, Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk,
that was
Captain Unfrozen, and Thor all happened within a week of each other.
Yeah, that was the older idea, but the MCU has retconned itself.
Yeah, obviously.
so it's just comic books. But like I said, to me, when he was like, it would have been more. For me, it's like do it for the story.
That was the original story.
Do it because we're going through it, just like you shouldn't have stopped that subplot because we're going through it. But
I remember that was a rumor though too.
Yeah,
maybe he's just building off the rumor, because it was rumored during COVID that when they went back to production, they were going to rewrite before going back to production, because it was about a pandemic and they didn't want to trigger. I guess is what they say these days, trigger people.
I don't know. No, nobody is ever forced. The day somebody is forced to watch or listen to something, I will be there by you guys saying that it is 100% wrong for you to be forced to watch or listen to anything past the amount of time it takes for your brain to register that you don't want to see or hear what you are seeing or hearing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's why I'm with you. Like, fuck, why'd you guys take it out? You're worried about people getting upset? They don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't have a federal or state agent at my door saying you will watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier Friday at 2 p.m. Yeah, so whatever. What theories or questions do you have now?
So this theory, I was thinking about it earlier today, like in the shower or something. It makes less sense to me now, because now we're talking about it. I would see, my original theory was maybe what breaks up the little trio team we have now, because they're not going to stay together, is Zemo getting juiced. But he's so much against it. I don't know if he'd even let himself, would he use it as a means to an end? Let himself get juiced so that he could be able to better take on the other threats. Because obviously there's 12 out there. The U.S. government might have some. Eventually they're going to catch up with the Flag Smashers if the Power Broker does it first.
He was already willing to kill himself once, so I could see him dosing himself and being willing to commit suicide after to not live that life. So yeah, I could see it as a possibility, Nick. Yeah.
Because I assume is he super powered in the comics at all ever?
I don't remember.
I just assume most Cap villains are, but really when Cap gets to most of his villains, he just needs a punch. It's usually intelligence or like Red Skull with super soldier serum to take on Cap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have anything else this week, do you?
Other than that, I don't think so. It's pretty solid episode, and I enjoyed it. I had fun. I feel
like they keep it better. Personally, I like each one better than the last, because last week, they brought us all in with the cool history stuff and the dark history, and this week they bring in Zemo as like the third wheel on their buddy cop team. He fits in surprisingly well, and he actually acts less sinister than John Walker these days. So,
yeah. I've heard, and the internet, Abraham Lincoln told us everything on the internet is true, right? So
I'm pretty sure that was Abraham.
He's gotten apparently a lot of angry tweets or hate mail, or someone even reported he's getting death threats. I'm like, I don't think he's getting serious ones, and anyone that sent a seriously mean, like,
hate the character, not the player.
Yeah, you guys are equally as garbage as those that were hating Kelly Marie Tran for the horrible character of Rose. The character's garbage. Kelly Marie Tran,
and especially fine. Here, she was supposed to be a likable character, and she wasn't.
Yeah.
But in this case, you're not supposed to even like John Walker. There's not a moment where you're like, oh man, like I think he's the perfect. No one's not. If you're that person in the audience, then you have the wrong mindset watching.
you can definitely humanize, empathize, even like we don't know the additional stresses that he's under. All we know is what we've seen or heard from his mouth.
And it seems like his values are just not as strong as Steve's. Where Steve, like we said, had like the best values. Like he's like honest Abe, real Steve. He was like, I chopped down that tree. I know it's not even a true story, but
Washington.
Yeah. Honest Steve. And I guess with that, we're halfway through the show. That was basically the midpoint. We're in the middle of the second act. So not as much action as the other, or I'd say it's my least impressed. I felt like none of the action scenes, since it was mostly like hand-to-hand combat and a few things blowing up, containers. It didn't feel like there was a same size set piece as even the truck fight, which was, I guess, it seems like each episode has one good action scene.
I would say the dock fight was a pretty big set piece.
Yeah.
It's like 5 minutes, 6 minutes of
and
knives,
everyone
guns and blood and
knows I like good stunt work, which is all the Sharon Carter shots are stunt work. There's not CGI shot
this
in
was either done by the
Civil War
stuntman. What's his John Wick, one of the director or somebody involved with John Wick was involved in this one. Is it Derek Kolstad? Yeah, Derek Kolstad was a writer on this one, and
he wrote all of them. Yeah.
All okay.
Yeah, just like WandaVision, one writer, one director.
And I think he brought on. I think I heard someone say he brought the Wick stunt coordinator. Maybe I might be wrong on that, but
definitely looks wonderful.
Yeah,
it's just like great. Definitely feel like the biggest. I mean, it's following the form of a superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
Your biggest action, you have a giant opening, a giant ending, and probably next episode will probably have a giant set piece too, like in the middle.
Yeah.
Because still the beginning is like the other two. You combine the other two set pieces, they're not as impressive as the first opening action scene of the show. But so watch out for that finale episode, folks. That'll probably be
it's gonna be
wild, lots of gears,
huge, absolutely massive.
Godzilla versus Kong, big.
Hank Amos
Dude,
was the supervising stunt coordinator.
On John Wick 1?
No, for this, and I don't see John Wick on there, but he did stunt coordinating. He's the supervising stunt coordinator for a shit ton of Marvel stuff. Loki, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Miss Marvel.
He's doing all the Disney
WandaVision,
Plus
all of those.
stuff. Yeah.
And then he was the stunt coordinator on Dark Phoenix, Captain Marvel, Aquaman, Black Panther.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's got the superhero cred out of his ass, even to DC.
Yeah.
Several times. Woo.
So, yeah. Anyways, there you go.
All right. Where can people find you, Kyle?
Everywhere.
And nowhere. No.
I'm at that Kyle Malone on Twitter, at that one Kyle Malone on Instagram. Find me on the podcast channel and YouTube channel doing LRMornings every Monday through Friday, and the Cantina on Fridays, and Anime Versal podcasts on Saturdays. This on Sunday.
At Geeky Nick Doll. I write stories for the site, and I do this show, and I do Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, and sometimes I'm on LRMornings or LRMornings or
yep, when you're not busy getting educated.
Yeah.
It's always been LRMornings.
I know, but I never said it right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Looks better spelt than it said.
Yeah.
And with that, Excelsior.